What's up everyone? Today we have another fantastic compilation featuring the best stories from r/Pettyrevenge. These 4 incredible tales will shock and entertain you. Subscribe if you're new here. This story is titled Gym Locker Room, posted by u/Ringoon1713. I belong to the local gym where everybody is respectful of the rules, and people say good morning or a friendly nod. If you need a spot, no problem. Wanna work in? Never an issue. Well, you get the idea. However, recently things have changed drastically after another nearby gym closed. The majority of newcomers have completely ruined the vibe. Not re-racking weights, not wiping machines down. Garbage left all over, hogging 2-3, machines at a time, etc. I had it when a nice older gentleman asked if he could use the calf raise that a group was not using, but had hoodies draped on. They told him no and laughed at him. The gym is unstaffed at certain times of the day, so there was nothing he could do. My idea for some petty revenge came when I saw them in the change room. They had showered and changed, but instead of taking their gym bags home, they each put their gear in a locker and locked it before they left. The gym lockers are for use, while at the gym, not a personal closet. My gym only has about 20 lockers, and this group was taking up 5 of them permanently without any thought for anyone else. Next time I was at the gym, I brought a small bottle of crazy glue and glued the keyhole in their locks. Then, I went about my workout and saw the group working out and being a general nuisance. When they left to shower, I followed. Watching them realize that they could not get their keys in was priceless. There was no employee there to cut the locks off, so not sure how they dealt with it. After I took a long shower and slowly got dressed, they were still irate and trying to figure out who did it. At this point, I left to not arouse suspicion. I'm not sure how they got their clothes and car keys, etc. out. When I returned to work out the next day, their lockers were cleaned out, ready for the next patron. This story is titled Accidentally Launched Snack Chaos, posted by u/Franklinotti. Let's jump into another amazing story. Tonight was one of those evenings, lol. My sister was in the laundry area, busy folding and sorting clothes, and I was just sitting around trying to relax a bit. But my loving nephew decided that was the perfect time to make me his entertainment. I have never liked kids, so bear with me. He was at the mini table with his snacks on a stainless plate with biscuits, I guess, and he kept throwing his stuffed toy at me. I ignored it at first, saying blah blah, he's a kid, and I should longer my patience, but he did it again, then again, and again. I got pissed. He didn't stop, so eventually I picked it up and threw it back toward him, not even hard, just enough to return it. But it didn't hit him. It hit the stainless plate. The sound was loud, like that sharp metal clang that instantly makes your heart drop. You okay, what I mean? He went quiet, and before my sister could come over, I panicked a little and ran straight to the kitchen. I turned on the faucet and started rinsing whatever was in the sink, acting like I had been there the whole time. After a few seconds later, my sister rushed in from the laundry area, because obviously she heard the noise. She saw her kid standing there where the snack was scattered on the floor, and me at the sink, minding my own business. My nephew looked at me like he was about to cry and call me a traitor. My sister didn't even ask me anything, and she just went straight to my nephew. She scolded him and tapped his hand with a hanger biatoile, and said something like, "That was enough for tonight. Ngayon trastis." He got sent to bed early with no cartoons. Meanwhile, I stayed at the sink until things calmed down, and I'm trying my best not to laugh. I didn't mean for it to turn out that way, but I finally got some peace. And I honestly don't know if it's petty enough, but it's mildly petty for me. This story is titled Didn't Talk That Much in a Group Project, posted by u/Chemist Teacher. This next story will blow your mind. This happened back in high school, but just remembered about after a bunch of posts about group projects showed up on my social media. A teacher in high school liked to give out group projects and tried to change it up from the normal give a presentation on whatever we were learning about. For this particular project, she wanted groups act like a newscast talking about a groundbreaking story. And the story in question would be the different things we learned about in class for the particular unit. I was paired with either 3 or 4 other people, and I unfortunately don't remember what the original plan was. But it really doesn't matter because none of them contributed to the writing of the script in general. I ended up writing the whole thing, figuring out who would say what, and trying to make sure that everyone's dialogue is pretty much equal, like one person isn't speaking for majority of the time, or each person talks about at least one very important part of whatever the group project was about. And I was frustrated at this point as because so far in the school year I already had other group projects, and I ended up doing everything for those as well, so I ended up giving myself the least amount of lines. I think I spoke in like it make 5 sentences in the whole skit, whereas everyone else spoke a good chunk more. This was my petty revenge, because I don't enjoy speaking in front of people. I hate giving presentations. And anything similar. And I hated this project since it was a bunch of talking and acting like news anchors, and we had to record it as well. And I was able to just be in it without talking much, and the cherry on top after we did the skit everything. And my partners decided that it wasn't fair that I didn't speak that much. They went to the teacher and tried to complain about it. Thankfully, the teacher sided with me and said since I wrote the whole script I added my part even if I didn't really do the whole news anchor thing. This story is titled If I Don't Get to Sleep. So Want You, a Hotel Saga. Posted by you/CityFlonor 2020. And now for our final story of today. That was last 90s. We were 4 18-year-olds, and we bought the cheapest travel possible, going from Brazil, where we live, to visit Buenos Aires, Argentina. We did that through a tour guide from Uruguay. And back then there was no way to check the hotel beforehand, etc. And an aside, before Brazilians started to pour huge amounts of money into Argentina's decaying economy, prejudice against Brazilian skin color was no secret. It was loud, in fact. We just didn't know the extent of it. Anyway, we bought the trip all through him. Some other 15 people were in the same tour. The hotel was, let's say, better than camping. We visited the city during the day and at night. We were going to a nightclub. In Buenos Aires, nothing starts before midnight, so we took a nap beforehand, met with the group at the hotel's door, and left to the nightclub. But we had to split in taxis, which in Buenos Aires is ridiculously cheap. Only our driver decided to cross the Nile, pass by New Zealand, and do the Trans-Siberian before leaving us in a nightclub in front of the river, Mar del Plata. Nice place. Distant from civilization as well. And we didn't have our tickets, the guide did. And he didn't wait for our taxi. So he stayed outside begging the guards to find the man and bring him to the door. No one would. We even asked for people on the line. No one gave us a second look. That's when it dawned on me that we were being barred. Because one of our friends was mixed race. She didn't notice. She believed the guide couldn't be found in the crowded place. But I paid attention to the dirty looks in our direction. And I said, let's go back to town and have fun somewhere else. And so we did. But I was furious. Went back to the hotel and couldn't sleep. So, what did I do? I called the guide at 3:30 a.m., he answered. I hang up. Again, I call end and hang up. I did that many times before he took the phone off the hook. And that left me with no option. In pajamas, I rang his doorbell and ran to hide in the stairs. He got up. Who's there? I gave it some time, just enough for him to get comfy in bed, and rang the doorbell again. Look, I was 18 and he was nearly 50. Who'd win the whole, didn't sleep at all fight. So, at 9 a.m., we were supposed to meet at the lobby, and he looked 10 years older. And I was still furious, because I asked him what happened, and he tried to play me for a fool. He was tall. I'm tiny. So in the middle of the lobby I climbed a chair and argued with him with a finger to his face. The hotel crew was horrified. My friends just looked wide-eyed, and then I asked, also, did you sleep well tonight? With a smirk. He came to push me off the chair. A cleaning lady grabbed his torso. I ran. More people came to hold him. And I kept dialing the phone and hanging up also. Rang the doorbell with my most cynical smile. And now there were like 5 people holding him. And he was expelled from the hotel, as I learned later. Other people from our group took our plane ticket with him and I never saw him again. How does it feel to be outsmarted by a teenio? Some seem to be doubting the story. I don't care. It's not AI or translation of any kind, it's my own writing. And I already found bad syntax that I won't fix. Sorry if some of you had such uneventful lives that can't even fathom that a silly story like that, Pettyrevenge, could be true. Reddit is getting unbearable with all those smartass. Ooh, AI slop. Unwanting. As if reality is often a lot more unbelievable than fiction. And my story is very tame. And that's all for today's Reddit stories. These incredible tales never fail to amaze me. Subscribe for more compilations like this. What did you think? Drop a comment. Thanks for watching.